So, since the administration, i.e., Donald Trump and JD Vance, have they are asking Netanyahu and the IDF to withdraw from Lebanon, stop bombing, stop destroying, bulldozing Lebanese villages. Enough is enough. You've got to chill, like. But this is straight away. People joke about the $7,000 you get for supporting Israel, but this is terrifying.
I have a message for Vice President JD Vance. You know, I am a proud Jewish American. I voted for you. I voted for President Trump, campaigned for your victory. I've just landed in Israel and I am speaking to you from Jerusalem. I know that you are a religious man and I know how holy Jerusalem is to you. You know, one of the many reasons that I and many other Americans voted and campaigned for you and President Trump was because we believed that you were the only hope to bring the Israeli hostages home after years of no progress under Biden. In addition, Israel was being attacked in a 7-front war by enemies that want to destroy America as much as they want to destroy Israel. These enemies are proxies of the Iranian regime, funded and supplied by the IRGC. You and the president campaigned on the promise of peace through strength. And yesterday, you delivered a message to Israel that sounded less like an ally speaking to an ally and more like a benefactor, reminding a dependent nation who pays the bills.
Because that's the relationship. And I'm sick to the back teeth of this Iranian proxy nonsense. The Shia of Iran stick up for oppressed. Hezbollah and Hamas did not exist until Israel and the IDF invaded them, want their land, displacing millions of people. Never forget that.
You said that Israel needs to remember who its only powerful ally is, and you pointed out that American taxpayers help fund Israel's defense. Now, respectfully, that view fundamentally misunderstands the nature of the U.S.-Israel relationship. You know, America is not doing Israel a favor. America benefits from Israel every single day. Israel is America's most reliable strategic partner in the Middle East. Israel provides intelligence that protects American lives. Israel develops and tests military technologies that strengthen America's defense system. Israel serves as a forward operating laboratory against America's enemies without requiring American troops to.
Sorry, America's enemies. The people in the Middle East just want to live in peace and make money, man. They're not America's enemies. They're your enemies. Because you want all their land.
Fight and die on foreign soil. Every terrorist network disrupted. Every Iranian proxy degraded. Every missile defense breakthrough. Every intelligence operation against the Iranian regime serves American interests as well as Israeli ones. Vice President Vance, this alliance is not charity, and you know it. It's one of the best investments that the United States has ever made. And that is why I and so many Americans are concerned about this agreement, because we've seen this movie before. Under the Obama administration, they lifted pressure, they released resources, and promised a more stable Middle East in return. But instead, Iran expanded its influence, armed its terrorist proxies like Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis, strengthened its missile capabilities, and moved ever closer to a nuclear weapon. Some deal that was. And President Trump built a reputation on rejecting that failed approach. And to his credit and to yours, the administration has demonstrated tremendous strength against Iran. But strength isn't measured by the opening act. It is measured by the outcome, by what kind of an end result we are actually going to get here. Is it going to benefit us for a few years or for generations to come? Because let's be honest, with this current situation, this current agreement, the Iranian regime, it remains in power. Now, this is the same regime that funds Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis, and militias that have targeted Americans. This is the same regime that plotted to assassinate President Trump. And that is why so many of us are uneasy, not because we want an endless war, and not because we're only thinking of Israel. That's nonsense. It is because we understand who the enemy is.
The enemy. Yes, maybe to Israel. But this is the thing I've been asking. I've asked everywhere, everyone, since 1979 with the Iranian Revolution? Who? Name me one country Iran have attacked preemptively. Yes, they've been at war with Iraq and Saddam Hussein, but who funded Saddam Hussein? Who gave him chemical weapons? Right? So barring that one war, since 1979, name me one war Iran have waged on any of their neighbours. And I'll go one better. Name me one Shia extremist attack, terrorist attack on the West. One. I'll wait.
Vice President Vance, you often speak about America first. So let's talk about America first. America first means defeating the regime that has spent decades chanting death to America. America first means preventing a nuclear Iran. America first means standing with allies who help advance American security rather than speaking about them as though they are dependents living off of America's generosity.
There are dependents living off America's generosity. They have free public health care. They have free education, higher education. Americans don't get that. Who pays for that? The American taxpayers. Who pays for all the weapons? America. Who pays for all the THAAD and Patriot interceptors? America. Honest to God, brain dead.
Israel is not America's greatest burden in the Middle East. Israel is America's greatest asset in the Middle East. Vice President Vance, history will not remember how this started. It will remember how it ended. We didn't come all this way, after all this sacrifice, after all this strength, to bend a knee to a regime that was finally on its knees because of gas prices and midterm elections. It is weak. We have a job to finish. Finish the Iranian regime once and for all. Finish it for America. Finish it for the world. Finish it for generations to come.
Bro, what are you talking about? Finish it for America. Iran posed no threat to America. They would pose no threat to Israel if you didn't keep expanding your borders. Honestly, like, I understand if you're an Israeli you don't want wars, but if you just stuck to the Balfour Declaration, if you just stuck to the initial borders that were given and live in peace with your neighbours. They tell us, like I say, I've been right-wing most of my life, all through my 20s and 30s. And ethno-supremacy, I thought that was a bad thing, even though I was all about it for a while. But why is there only allowed to be one ethno-state in the world? One place where if you're not Jewish, you're not welcome. If you're not Jewish, you're classed as second-class citizens. The Arabs have been there longer than the Eastern and European Jews. I'm sorry. But yes, we all are children of Abraham, so why can't we all just live in peace? There's only one country that doesn't want peace. One. And we'll just get into this one as well. It boils my piss, I'm sorry, but it does.
If Iran says that the whole MOU, the entire thing, is contingent on Israel withdrawing and stopping their air campaign, well, Israel's never going to agree to that because they can't. Netanyahu cannot stop bombing Hezbollah. He can't stop the ground operation because if he does, then he loses the election and he goes to jail. He can't stop, maybe you could say fundamentally, even more than that. Let's take it a step further. He cannot stop because the Israelis want more war. And this is maybe the biggest misconception about what is happening in Israel. Everybody that criticizes Israel, they all like to say that this is a Netanyahu problem, that it's a Likud problem. It's this particular regime that controls Israel right now and their policies, which are the problem. And they're saying that because they want their critique of Israel to be as narrow as possible. They don't want to be seen as critiquing Israel in and of itself, or Jews as a group, or people who support Israel as a group. So they say the problem is Netanyahu. He's this particularly evil guy with this particularly evil agenda, and it tends to happen in the course of human events that these types of evil individuals will take control of countries, but it's not actually a reflection on those countries in and of themselves or the peoples that those leaders claim to represent.
And just look at that. Dual citizen, we just watched. That is what she represents, the majority. The majority of Israelis. And the thing is, they're all dual citizens. If things do get bad, they can leave. Where can the Palestinians go? Where can the Lebanese go? Nowhere. It's their land.
So you could say, for example, that Stalin was evil, but Russia isn't, or Hitler was evil, but Germany isn't. And so people say Netanyahu happens to be a real jerk, but it has nothing to do with Israel or Israelis or Jews at all. But this is belied by the fact that 70% of Israelis want to see the war in Iran continue. 70% of Israelis want to see the war in Lebanon continue. It doesn't matter if it's Netanyahu. It doesn't matter if it's Gideon Sa'ar. It doesn't matter if it's Naftali Bennett. It doesn't matter if it's this Eisenkampf guy. I don't even know his name. There's a new guy they want to run. It doesn't matter who's running Israel because Israelis want more war. They are not sated. They want Israel to annihilate Hezbollah, invade Lebanon. They want Israel to pursue regime change in Iran, and they expect the United States to support it. And if Netanyahu can't deliver on those things, then they're going to vote for somebody else who they think will deliver on those things. And I said it at the beginning of this year. Netanyahu's opposition, Yair Lapid, the leader of Israel's opposition party in the Knesset, he published an editorial in the New York Times, and he said the bipartisan security consensus of Israel has changed. In other words, he said everyone in Israel supports what Netanyahu is doing. The leader of Netanyahu's opposition said it's not just Netanyahu, it's all of us. It's all the parties. It's all the Israelis. It's bipartisan. We all support this aggressive, revisionist new posture. And that means confronting Iran fundamentally and confronting Iran's proxies with these expansionist campaigns in Gaza, in the West Bank, in Lebanon. So, as long as that is the Israeli consensus, and as long as this is a precondition for Iran to make peace with the United States, then there's going to be no peace.
And that's right, like. And we've just seen what that female had to say about it. They are all the same. And as soon as the tables start turning, just a fraction, just quickly before just to end with this.
מוכן? שומך? מספיק. קדימה? חייבת תימחק. יחד, לא נראה ולא נחריש.
As soon as there's a bad word said, this is the IDF, by the way, they are fully focused and obsessed with Greater Israel. They will not stop till they achieve it. The UK and the USA needs to stop funding and aiding and abetting these war crimes. I'll keep saying it. That's it for this one.